Coming up on FaceTime.
Barack Obama went to this school, my high school. He went to Columbia, my college, and he went to Harvard Law School, just as I did. In politics, one of the first things that I wanted to do was to connect and build bridges of communications with China. Lawyers can be architects of society. A lawyer can help design and structure people's lives and make a better world.
Previously on FaceTime. Yang Xingyet, the father of Chinese aviation, made the first Chinese airplane and helped build China's Air Force right after the 1911 revolution led by Sun Yat-sen, laying the cornerstone of Chinese aviation. He was the first Hawaiian citizen that got both a land plane and a sea license to fly. He returned to China to help with Sun's revolutionary career.
Yang Xianyi, I imagine, was a risk taker. He was an adventurer. He was one that had a vision for the future and one that wanted to embrace new technology to help him get to the future. And that future was a united China with a prosperous population.
Leigh-Wai, grandson of Yang Xingyet, has been accumulating materials about his grandfather for the past 50 years by coming back to China for more than 60 times. He was greatly influenced by his grandfather's efforts and spirit on building a new China.
I thought he cared a lot about people. He cared on the well-being of all people.
Leigh-Wai grew up in a family that was deeply inspired by Yang Xingyet. After Xingyet's death, in spite of great difficulties, his grandmother Cheng Du-chun managed to build the Xingyet Middle School at their hometown Zhongshan in memory of Yang.
And she wanted always to build education, to cause education for the new generation to carry on the spirit.
Leigh-Wai had polio since his early childhood. The disease deprived him of the ability to walk, but this did not stop him from dreaming big. He holds a JD from Harvard Law School and became the first Chinese city councilman in Honolulu. He has also been devoting himself to bridging the United States and China through forming sister-city relations. Leigh-Wai continues to tell the stories of his lifetime on FaceTime.
You're also very well accomplished. You've done many great things.
I'm just an old man in a wheelchair.
And so you went to Harvard Law School, so I read. And what made you choose to want to study law in the first place?
Lawyers can be architects of society, or they can be plumbers of society. The lawyer can help design and structure people's lives and make a better world. So by providing the infrastructure for the rest of society to develop around. My eyes were opened through a lifetime of people's help. I was born healthy, 9 pounds, 13 ounces, big baby. I walked across the room at 9 months of age. Then I had polio as a baby, couldn't move. And I grew up with crutches and braces, and then I loved surfing. Chulang.
Wow, how did you manage?
You can surf by lying down and pull your own weight by paddling on the surfboard. And I love to surf big waves. And I would think It's perfectly fine to wipe out, to take a risk and lose and fall off. It's because I'm still alive. I didn't drown. I swim, get back on the board, go and catch another wave. That lesson was good and bad. The good was always keep going, never give up, have fun. And the bad was my grades were bad. I did not do well in my youth in studies because I would rather be surfing.
Like most Hawaiian youngsters, Leigh-Wai developed an interest for surfing. However, one can imagine that he had to get through much more hardship than common people in mastering this sport. During this process, he had an opportunity to rediscover his life, and dramatically, it was surfing that pushed him back to his study.
When I realized that I could not be a beach boy, and my desire was to be a beach boy in my life, teaching people how to surf, but when I realized I couldn't teach people how to stand up and surf, and I was fortunate to go to a school in Paris, France, and I saw the new world of France and Europe and other cultures. They are poor white people. Right. Wow. That I am not short at 5'4" because the French Parisians are my height. I said, oh, we must make our own lives through the environment that we create. So I studied a lot and enjoyed that study because my eyes were opening. I was wondering, questioning, challenging. And then I got into, as a transfer student, to all the great schools in America. I went to Columbia, which is in New York City. Great school, great city, and thrived, just like Barack Obama did.
Very diverse.
Same as Barack Obama. Yeah, Barack Obama went to this school, my high school. He went to Columbia, my college, and he went to Harvard Law School, just as I did. And I went before him, my way. He followed. And Harvard does not just look for a good student.
Yes.
They look for a person of character, of heart,
Yep.
of contribution to society.
Right.
So I encourage all students everywhere in the world to develop yourself first as a good person, because smart people can be bad people.
Yes.
And we want smart people that are good people.
To develop yourself first to be a good person is also the motto of Leigh-Wai when educating his children. He's married to a beautiful woman from Minnesota. Her family is originally from Sweden, and she's been a school teacher. Together, they have 3 wonderful children.
This is a beat-up old picture that I carry in my wallet for the last 6 years, I think. My wife, my Lao-Po, my oldest son, my only girl, and my youngest son. The youngest is now teaching in South Korea, teaching science. The girl is now a stockbroker in London, dealing in finance and with the company Algomi. And my boy is in Minnesota. My wife is home with me.
That's great. Wow, you are a very happy person then.
I'm lucky that, and fortunate that none of my children had polio. I had polio, but yet with polio I could still have healthy children, and they have all been to Guangzhou and China. It's our duty to raise good citizens, either directly as our children or by teaching the next generation. I'm an old man now, and
But still young at heart.
hey, we'll live to another 30 years. But our job now in our elder age is to teach. So that I hope to do.
You pretty much did the same path as President Obama. So is it safe to say that if you ever wanted to run for the US president, you might have been the first Chinese American president?
The long shot, it might have been. It had been a thought. I ran for the Honolulu City Council. I was successful in that, served 12 years. I did a brief run for the U.S. Congress, but that experience made me realize politics is so consuming that I had to either choose between being a good politician full-time or a good father that spent time with his children. And I chose to be a good father to spend time with my kids. I left politics after 12 years and practiced law. But after law school, I started as the second person head to start our University of Hawaii School of Law. So we trained for 40 years now the lawyers in Hawaii that have gone all over the world.
Now you're watching FaceTime. Despite having had polio since his childhood, Yang Xingyet's grandson Leigh-Wai has achieved more than you can imagine in his lifetime. He continues to talk about his beliefs in building a better society and how he brought both sides closer during his short political career in Hawaii. As the first Chinese councilman in Hawaii state, Leigh-Wai was mainly accredited for helping with the downzoning of Honolulu and the better urban planning of the city. He also took part in the composition of the law of property regulation, which still is of great reference value even today.
Honolulu was thriving after statehood, with many people wanting to build buildings everywhere, make money. They owned the land they wanted to build, but it was land that had not yet been built on. I recognized as the chair of the planning committee looking ahead 20 years and more that we could not allow every place of Oahu to develop. So I downzoned much of Oahu, meaning from commercial and residential, made it agriculture. And unfortunately, many people could not make money, but it was able to preserve for our children and grandchildren the countryside and beautiful park areas, as well as encourage the urban areas to develop. Good planning. And for that, the people that lost out with the downzoning sued.
Yes.
And they sued me and the council 13 times.
Wow.
And it went up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
All the way.
And we didn't lose a single case because being a lawyer, we knew how to appropriately follow procedures and write the reasoning. 30 years later, everybody is very thankful. We have country, we've kept the country, we've urbanized the city, we've built a second city, and we have good infrastructure.
Although his political life didn't last very long, one of the notable changes that Leigh-Wai had made is to have successfully connected China and the US through helping form sister city relations.
In politics, one of the first things that I wanted to do was to connect and build bridges of communications with China, as the people of China are so good, I personally know, and the people of America are so good. Thought we should create a sister city. So I flew to, in 1983, flew to San Francisco and met with China's Consul General Hu Dingyi, and made a trip here to Guangdong to choose a sister city. And it was the first for any place in Hawaii to any place in the People's Republic of China.
So the end product was
Sister provinces with Hawaii, Guangdong, sister city, Zhongshan with Honolulu, sister island of Hainan Dao, then part of Guangdong with Oahu Dao, which is all of Honolulu, which later became Honolulu Haikou capitals.
Upon his first arrival back in 1985, Leigh-Wai got amazed at so many similarities that there are between Hainan Island and Hawaii that he contributed to helping Hawaii and Hainan Island become sister cities. In 1999, he became the first recipient of the title of honorary citizen given by the government of Hainan. It's our duty to use our gifts to the best of our ability. Leigh-Wai regarded as a legacy of his family, handed down by his paternal grandfather Wai Sing-du. Wai Sing-du surprisingly shared somewhat similar experiences with his maternal grandfather Yang Xin-yat, starting from scratch and becoming successful in Hawaii. Though his family has been rooted in Hawaii, he never forgot his relatives in China.
This is the will of Du Wai-sing, and he also said to his children that you should never squander either your talents or your wealth, but you should labor industriously and to live wisely.
And live honestly. And help the needy relatives in China. Help the people in China. Da'ai. Life is good. Life is blessed. We all have gifts. It's incumbent on us. It's our duty to use our gifts to the best of our ability and build a better society always.
Yeah, aloha, right? So it's a big love.
Aloha.
Apart from his paternal grandfather's will, a copy of the calligraphy written by Sun Yat-sen, which reads as 志在冲天, was carried around by Leigh-Wai. It was aimed at encouraging family members of Yang Xin-yat to always aim high and never give up. Handed down by descendants, the calligraphy is cherished by Leigh-Wai as a family heirloom, and so are the spirit and persistence of Yang Xin-yat.
A saying which I hope people around the world, including China, will aspire to the sky and break through heaven and soar higher than heaven so you can achieve your dreams. You set your goal, and if you resolve your goal, resolve that that is going to be your goal, you're going to be free. There's no limit. You can go beyond the sky. In fact, the Chinese will walk on the moon because they're determined to do it. And every individual can do it. My young girl, she was just an ordinary girl that used to like to go to the shopping centers, but she became determined to see the world, and secondly, to do her best. So she tried very hard and became a stockbroker, on the computer stockbroker. And then the headhunter found her and took her from New York City, Wall Street, to London and joined a new company there. And now every week she goes to 2 different countries in Europe. She's one of the head representatives for Alchemy to sell their software to other countries in European Union. She didn't know a single soul in the whole continent. Took the risk, willing to be lonely, willing to work hard, and financially she's thriving, but she's going to come home for Christmas because she says she needs our family support to buoy her for the energy